You might as well just stay standing back.
Okay.
The next question has to do with one of the graphics that you showed. It says in the graphic that showed the flow chart of having the NIC and then a K through 12 specialist and NIC 2, then attaching to a legal or medical certificate or specialist certificate. Did you mean, or does that mean, that the K through 12 certification does not require the skills that would be tested at the NIC 2 level and does not require the same sort of expertise that is required of medical and legal interpreting? And what sorts of situations would you then say that someone who is certified at the NIC 1 level is qualified to work in?
Okay. We don't know. We don't know the answer to the question, okay? Remember I said that was on the right-hand side of that diagram, and that right-hand side is very fuzzy. So I don't know what the answer is. We just put it there because we thought there might be some credentials that would be, you could specialize off of the level 1 generalist credential, and there might be some that you could specialize off the level 2. Now we can't answer the question until we really know what level 2 means. We don't know yet. And if level 2 means a higher level of vocabulary, if level 2 means a certain increased sensitivity to certain areas, then the question becomes, are those needed for the specialty condition or not? So we don't know the answer to that. I can tell you that the generalist level 1 credential in the profile, and unfortunately I don't have the profile memorized, but basically the idea is this is everyday communication, okay, that this interpreter can correctly keep up and correctly convey the communication and the emotion involved in normal daily communication activities, not at a highly advanced college, advanced graduate level vocabulary, but the kind of vocabulary that you would engage in typical business and typical activities. Okay, now again, I apologize, don't hold me to those words because there is a very nice definition that the committee, the scoring committee drafted, which is much more eloquent than I, but I think you get the idea that they can do the job correctly, they can do it keeping up their accuracy, but it's not at a very high level of vocabulary. In other words, we're not saying if you are a college graduate and you're getting your doctorate degree in something, that these people can stand up and help you defend your graduate thesis, okay? That's not being warranted in the process. Again, I apologize for not really having the words in front of me, but that's the general idea. Okay?
Thank you.
Now I can sit.
I think you can sit down now because I believe the next question is for the board or maybe Farah, I'm not sure which. All right, and there were also some comments before about the process, and I just wanted to get your comments about the process. There were some comments that said, could Kelly please read the question and not interpret the question? Thank you, or please and thank you. So thank you for that comment about the process itself, and I'm wondering if you all would prefer that I voice English. Okay, I can do that. I'll go forward with that then. Okay.
Okay, better? All right. So either Cheryl or potentially Farah, if our idea is spending money on a new NIC, how come we're not focusing on a new SCL and CDI and OTC first?
Farah?
And Farah has a mic way over there.
I saw Farah jump up, so I wanted to give you an opportunity, Farah.
Actually, I would defer to you, Cheryl, but it's a very good question, and the answer is the board started by creating this NIC task force to address the issues you had raised. So clearly these issues were more pressing. However, the specialty examinations are not being ignored. Currently, we are working on establishing a new passing score for the CDI, and at the same time, we will be conducting a professional-wide survey so that we can gather data that will be relevant to update the other exams as well. So all exams are being looked at the same time, but the focus right now is on the NIC, as you see.
And just to add, thank you, Farah. As Farah stated, the CDI task force is currently working in conjunction with the NCIEC on enhancements to the CDI test. And I understand they're meeting next week, Farah?
Yes, next Saturday.
So the CDI task force, along with the representatives of the NCIEC, are meeting next week to further work on enhancements to the CDI. And as Buck stated, the specialist certificates are a part and process of the NIC enhancements. And while we must focus on the NIC generalist first, then we move forward to what Buck said related to our specialty tests. However, I want you to know at the board level, we have directed the national office to make testing a priority, that we understand that our testing system needs a shot in the arm. And by shot in the arm, I'm talking funding, and that funding is a priority for the national office. That is the directive from the national office, and they're working on because of that directive, which came at our spring face-to-face meeting, that our treasurer has been working with Matthew O'Hara, our Director of Finance and Administration, to ensure that the budget reflects testing become a priority. And I think it's part and parcel with our new leadership and the new direction that we plan to take as an association together. So.
Thank you, Cheryl. Okay, this one's for you, Buck. Why should I believe you any more than I believed the last person hawking a test?
You shouldn't. Really. I mean, you shouldn't just trust people. You should look at product, process, qualifications, all of those things, and really you should demand that the product that comes out meets everything that I just told you was going to happen, okay? So yeah, I don't think you should trust just because I can stand up here and talk at you and show you pictures and stuff like that. You should really look at the meat. Does something really happen? When you see the survey, does it make sense? Do people follow up on what's going on? I mean, I've been to so many organizations where they promise the world and they deliver nothing, okay? And that's not going to happen here. I don't think RID is into that. I'm definitely not into that. And you should not judge me on how I speak. You should judge me on how I and the committees and RID perform. So the answer to your question is, good question. Don't trust me just based on face. Look at the product and the outcome.
If I may add as well, in one of your handouts, in your folders today, you can see, and this goes along with Buck's statements, you can see what has happened since October 2009, the plans for this year, 2011, 2012, 2013. And like Buck said, don't trust what we're saying, trust what we're doing. And it's all laid out right here.
Okay, next question. Did your company design the current NIC? If yes, what happened?
No. our company came in in October of 2009, I think, to the second task force meeting, because the RID staff wanted to get some different perspectives. They wanted to get some different opinions and experience into the mix. So no, we were not involved in the previous examination at all. We're coming into this looking at it with an unbiased eye, I hope, one that really says, what's the situation? What are the demands? We came into this not knowing a lot about you or your industry, but asking questions of the task force and saying, what are the driving forces? What are the real concerns? What are the considerations? We have nothing to defend. We have no reason to try to be biased in one way or the other. So hopefully we can add some clear and different vision to the process. So we were not involved in the previous exam. We have been involved, obviously, with looking at the previous exam process and looking at what the data indicates, and looking at the scoring process and asking the question, how can we make this better? What's the facts about the current situation, and how can we help move this process into a new level, a new generation?
But I would also add that we still work with the previous company that created the NIC test. So that is not to say that that company is bad, but we felt that we needed a company that had expertise in performance testing. And it's very common for test sponsors like us to use many different vendors for different purposes. So Castle Worldwide still works with us, but the Caveat Group is the best fit for this initiative.